Hi, welcome back. We know you've been here before, however, as a formality, can you please state your name and the role you're going for?
I'm Cameron Beattie and I'll be going for the part of William Burke.
Are you not meant to have an Irish accent? That doesn't matter now. Tell us about your character's role in the story.
Well, William's role in the story is very much the brains of the operation. Burke was born in 1792 in Ireland, where he was a farmer. He moved to Scotland in 1818, where he met Helen McDougall.
My name is Eve Mortimer and I'm going for the role of Helen McDougall, who was the accomplice of Burke and his female companion. Helen met Burke and they lived together in Falkirk in 1818, and then they moved to Edinburgh in 1827 when Burke met Hare.
I'm Martin Mitchell and I'm going for Hare. Hare was a friend of William Burke and they ended up committing 17 murders in the year of 1828.
Burke and Hare were very close friends and business partners. On the 29th of November 1827, Hare came to Burke about a tenant who had died and owed him money. Burke suggested selling the body to science, so they gave it to Dr. Knox.
Well, Knox was a professor at the University of Edinburgh. He studied anatomy, so obviously he needed bodies to study. So he came across these two gentlemen, Mr. Burke and Mr. Hare, whose relative had just died. And so he took them off their hands for a small sum and said if they'd ever find any more bodies, just contact him and he'll be willing to pay.
Hare gave Burke the profit, and so they continued this in 1828. To make more money, many victims were found in Lawnmarket, particularly in alleyways. And he was the one who had the idea to entice the lonely people and the sick and the homeless into the inn, have a drink with them, charm them, and then eventually get them drunk, suffocate them and kill them. Even if they were booked into the inn as a guest, he had the idea to fill coffins with straw and send them out so that there would be no evidence of a body not being there. The final killing took place on the 31st of October in 1828. Burke hired Mary Docherty, an Irish woman, to the inn, claiming he was a relation of the Dochertys. However, a tenant named Anne Gray became nosy and found the body.
I am Zara Kennedy and I am auditioning for the role of Anne Gray. She's very normal. She has her normal family, her normal husband. She was just in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. Anne and her husband were staying in the inn that Burke and Hare were committing their crimes in. And one of the nights that Anne and her husband were in the inn, the two men could not commit a murder on a girl because we would have heard, or they would have heard. And so when they'd gone and when the guys had committed their crime, Anne came back to the inn and wasn't allowed in one of the rooms, and the suspicion of that drove her to eventually getting into the room and finding the girl underneath the bed.
Burke and Hare were immediately arrested. However, it was Helen and Burke who went to trial on the 24th of December 1828.
Hare ended up testifying against Burke and he claimed that Burke was the only one doing the murdering and he was just a witness in all the crimes.
There wasn't enough evidence to condemn both of them to prison, so it wasn't until Hare testified against Burke that he was sentenced to be hung at the neck until dead. On the 25th of December 1828, Burke was charged with multiple murders and sentenced to hanging.
Ritchie, going for the part of the hangman. The hanging of Burke was a massive event at the time. I knew that there was people selling tickets for it. It was just like a massive event, so if you compare that to something nowadays, it's like a big concert or something like that. There was thousands of people really wanting to go, and if there was any houses on Grassmarket that were on looking the hanging, they were selling the tickets and stuff like that, because there was so many people that were dying to see it. Your body should be publicly dissected and anatomised, and I trust that as ever customary to preserve skeletons, yours will be preserved, in order that posterity may keep in remembrance of your atrocious crimes.
Burke was hung at the Grassmarket on the 28th of January 1829. He was dissected on the 1st of February 1829, after which his skin was tanned, turned into leather, and was bound to be the cover of a book. and his skeleton was preserved and put up on display at a museum.